Okay, thank you for staying with the Monday Report. And now, Chesa, so what is the way forward to this? Because there seems to be a standoff. Union officials say that there was a return-to-work formula. Government says that return-to-work formula cannot be honored as is. There needed to be more negotiations.
I think the way forward depends on what happens tomorrow. I am not sure that Maloba and the union have rallied sufficient support among the members of the union to go on strike tomorrow. And the reason why some people may be reluctant to go on strike is, one, the strike is unprotected. Maloba here is saying that they have not been served. You know, in law, once parties are in court, they do not require formal service. UWAS lawyers were in court, university lawyers were in court, the AG was in court. Who will want to participate in a strike where consequences are not protected by court? But most importantly, what is the outcome? And I think the way forward, we must not just negotiate on the table with the CBA. We must start from the budgeting level. We've seen more university negotiating directly with Parliament for appropriation of funds so that they are given money to sort out their problems. Even if the vice-chancellors and the chair of the council and the unions were to agree on whatever figure, without Parliament making available the funds, nothing can be implemented. And I can tell you for free, Trevor, we live in Kenya. We will be here in a week's time or 2 weeks. Malova will have called off the strike and they are going to sign what we call in law the non-victimization pact. Because once a strike has not taken off, you must get a formula that will save your face as a union. We want to urge sincerity from government and use of non-technical terms that our unions can understand with ease so that they don't withdraw from the pact midway and say that they were cheated. If they were cheated on 26th, nothing stops government from cheating them again tomorrow to sign another return-to-work formula under the same conditions or even worse conditions. Okay, Prof. So what is the way forward now? Because they say by stroke of midnight they're going on strike.
Yeah, maybe just first of all to address that issue of strike, and Advocate Chesa has already spoken on that. The ELRC issued orders restraining any officials or their agents from inciting, encouraging, or participating in an unprotected strike, either on the planned date or any day thereafter. So any person who participates in the strike tomorrow will be doing it at his own risk. He has talked about the issue of budget. We have discussed the issue of budgets. And he talked about the letter from PS. The PS on Higher Education and Research, Dr. Beatrice Inyangala, who asked them to collaborate with the National Treasury to ensure that there is adequate funding for the CBA and also to ensure sustainability. Currently, the university's budget is 80 billion. If this CBA were to cost the 9.6 or 9.7 billion, which is about 10 billion, it would raise the budget of the universities by 12.5%. In 4 years, this would be 120 billion. Because once you sign the CBA, this must be funded subsequently. Otherwise, we'll return to the old situation where universities were unable to continue to pay. So it must be sustainable. And therefore, the union must realize that the fiscal space that we are in, and therefore ensure the affordability of the CBA.
Okay. So yes. In a nutshell, yes. Are you saying that you need to renegotiate the 7 to 10% figure? So that the 7 to 10%
has no issue. Okay. The issue is only in how to implement the 4%.
Okay. So that 4% needs to be renegotiated.
That's what needs to be relooked at.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So at the time you're signing it, you didn't know that it was right. It was wrong.
What can be done, and there have been discussions where the unions have been, and you said, if you are earning a certain figure, you just add 7%, and then we know where you are going to land at. Then every year, add the 4%. So that would cap it at the 7%. But if you add to all those notches, and there are 12 of them, then it goes beyond. So our proposal is we cap it at the point where the 7% or 10% reaches, and therefore we will not have any issue.
So you're saying that it shouldn't have been between 7 to 10%, it should have been 7%?
No. The 7 to 10% has no issue. 7% is for the lower grades, grade 1 to 12. 7% for the upper grades, 13 to 15. 10% for the lower grades. That has no issue. The issue is now, how do we fit in the 4% and still we remain within the return to work formula? So that is what we need to sit down and agree how we are going to work it out.
So as we wind up, what is your plan to ensure that this strike doesn't happen? And if it happens, how fast can it be resolved? What is the plan?
As I said, the strike has been declared and protected, and therefore the vice chancellors have the role to ensure that normalcy remains in the universities.
Okay. Maloba.
All right. Let me start first with Wakili. And, by virtue of their training as lawyers, they always want to find the slimmest possible chance of an argument. He's more looking for a sound bite than making actually sense. And I can assure you, for as long as those slim arguments get traction, then we just miss the point every other time. And I can assure you, we don't scare easily. Professor, let me tell you now this. If you think that lecturers scare easily, that, by morning, no. Be careful and live with what you can actually have consequences for. We don't scare easily. That's number one. Lecturers, I am actually telling lecturers in Kenya, 1201, down those stools, let's see who is actually standing. Last man standing. But here is this. We are not here just to threaten. No. I want people to also remember one thing. Lecturers go on strike just for them to get people to talk and negotiate. They go on strike even when they have negotiated and they have a return to work formula. We will go again on, I'm sure, when we want to implement and be paid. In fact, another strike even before it is registered. This is the pattern. And there's also one thing I want people to be very sure about. Are we really rescuing education when every time we create a scenario in the one we are in right now, where your best talent is always told, we will sack you, we will do this? Do you think lecturing is not an effective profession where if you are to force me into class, I will deliver? This is the kind of scenario where our own colleagues are used, probably even as contraceptives, so that they actually injure us without knowing that we are the ones who are trying to protect this profession. And as I finish, I want to tell people this. We will remain steadfast, not for anything else, but because we want to honor this profession. In the last segment when I was here, I said lecturers were pegged at par with principal secretaries. We have kept eroding the quality of the lifestyle of lecturers continuously through this kind of machinations. We play as if it is not going to affect the bottom line. Do we want to rescue university education here in Kenya? Then do the following. Number one, negotiate, quickly pay these lecturers on time. And number two, make sure that we do not have these perfunctory arguments over nothing. Professor has actually said he wants to renegotiate what? 4%. He's forgetting his signature is there. He said 7% to the higher, 10% to the lower. We do the maths, we give them, then they run away and say, you know what, come renegotiate. Why? Why? Sincerely, why? And then here is worse, that we will sack you, seriously? Now, if any government wants to lose its education, and I think Mandela is the one who said this, if you want to destroy a nation, you know what you go for first? Education. Once you destroy that, that's it. The whole nation crumbles.
So finally,
I can assure you, WASU members want the best out of the university.
Okay.
Trevor,
yes, so the strike is on at midnight.
The unions must walk the talk. Maloba should not speak loudly here just as a form of bidding, so that after 1 week, the strike is not on, lecturers have not been given any pay, and the unions are still silent, and they're saying, we did our best. They must talk big on TV, they must talk big in the meetings, other than talking big here, and they are duped by simple arithmetics, by professors of mathematics here, and they come out of it nothing.
Okay, so the strike is still on, Maloba?
No, the strike is on, and I can assure you we will be. In fact, the last thing I wanted to say to what Professor had said, he said, oh, there will be a ballooning bill the moment we add by 12%. Professor, every year, now, this, if you are good at mathematics, then you will know that even budgets keep increasing yearly. Okay. That means the taxes keep getting what? Bigger and bigger. What we simply have to do is what? Find ways of equitably distributing these amounts so that we can satisfy the conditionalities that the economy needs to drive, especially a knowledge economy of which we are the ones in charge.
All right, gentlemen, we'll see what happens tomorrow. Thank you so much for making time. Professor Kamau Ngamau, VC, the Cooperative University of Kenya, and IPUCCF JNC alternate spokesperson, Dr. Maloba Wekesa, WASU Chapter Secretary, UON, and Kennedy Chesa, lecturer and legal expert as well. Thank you so much for making time this evening, and thank you all for watching the Monday Report. On behalf of everyone else who made this possible, we say good night and God bless.